like that, bro. I got to get off my brother now. All right, y'all, we finna get going. You can do it. Yeah, you did a good job. Yep. Hold on, let me put my time on. I'm gonna try to run for 25. Go ahead, bro.
And welcome back to another episode of Bible in Plain View. Today, your teacher is going to be Brother DeMarcus, and I'm Brother James is going to be your reader. Now we're going to open it up for Brother DeMarcus to go ahead and lead us in to your lesson, brother.
All right, peace, everybody. I just lost my lesson. Dang. Okay, here you go. But peace, everybody. And the title of the lesson is keeping the Sabbath day holy, the rules. And it kind of, it's a little lamb back or piggyback off of what the brother was just touching on, but he was giving you the requirements of the whole duty of man is to really fear God and keep his commandments, right? But even with inside of those commandments, right, we got the Sabbath day that the whole world just looked past. Like the whole world looked past. The brother at the front counter, we had a brief conversation last Sunday, and hey, his church, he followed tomorrow. And that's fine. But the world teaches contrary, so that's why he's following tomorrow. It's really not fine in the eyes of God. But my reason for fine is because, hey, if that's what you choose to do, that's between you and God. But what we're going to touch on real quick, real brief, because these lessons, they run for 30 minutes. You got the liberty to pause and play. Make sure you have a Bible, pen, pad, because we're reading out of a Bible. So follow along so you can prove whether we're proving what's according to the Bible or according to man. So this is why we have a Bible, pen, pad, pause, play, but we're going to run it. We're going to be running pretty quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up in Genesis chapter 3. We're going to look at all the way in the very beginning, right? God established the Sabbath, right? So we're looking at what day the Sabbath fell on. Then we're going to look at some of the rules. This is going to be a part one because this can be a part two to this lesson. So we're going to deal with just part one of the lesson, and we're looking at some of the rules and the requirements as to how to keep the Sabbath day holy. So let's look in the very beginning when God sanctified this day. Genesis chapter 2, and let's read 1 through 3. When you get it, go ahead and take off, bro.
Thus the heavens and the earth were finished,
Yep.
and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made.
Yep.
And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made.
So God giving us the example of work, rest, right? God is the ultimate example, right? And if we're trying to be like God, we should pattern our walk behind God. So even in the very beginning, we see is that, hey, God rested on the seventh day. He worked for 6 days, and on the seventh day, he rests. What does it say in verse 3, bro?
And God blessed the seventh day.
What did he do to the seventh day?
Sanctified. And God blessed the seventh day.
Go ahead.
And sanctified.
You see that? God sanctified or separated this day from all the rest. Some get in the conversation as like, oh, we worship God every day. That's true. Right? That's true. You should be serving and worshiping God every day of the week. But in the Bible, God sanctified one day, though. He sanctified one day, and he set it apart. So we see is that what? He blessed the seventh day and sanctified it because what?
Because that in it, he will have rested from all his work, which God created and made.
You see that? So God created and made, and he rested. Let's go over here now to Mark chapter 2 real quick. Mark chapter 2. And let's look at what Jesus had to say pertaining to this Sabbath. Because, hey, the one that we finna read about in Mark chapter 2 is the one that sanctified the seventh day in Genesis chapter 2. Hey, that the whole world bypassed. Like the whole world is bypassing it. Hey, they checking in and out of hotels. They buying and selling. They dining in the restaurants. They on the beaches getting suntans. They doing whatever it is, but not getting clarity or understanding on God. And that's what today is truly all about. So look at this Mark, though. Mark chapter 2, and look at what Jesus had to say about this. Mark 2, and pick it up at 23. Go ahead, bro.
And it came to pass that he went through the cornfields on the Sabbath
Yep.
And his disciples began as they went to pluck the ears of corn.
So they had to feed themselves, right? But we know shucking corn can require some type of work. But still, they had to feed themselves. We eat, right? You know, some of you like, oh man, well, what do y'all eat if y'all can't buy and sell? Or if y'all can't go out to what do you eat? We eat, right? We eat, but we are doing all of this prior to the Sabbath. So we see right here, hey, some of the disciples going through the cornfield, they plucking the ears of corn. What is saying 24, bro?
The Pharisees said unto him,
Yep.
Behold, why do they on the Sabbath day that which is not lawful?
That's a legitimate question, right? But we talking about the Pharisees, right? And the question is really trying to trip Jesus up. That's really what they're doing, because look at what Jesus said in 25.
And he said unto them, Have ye never read what David did?
You see that? So, hey, these are Pharisees that's supposed to know the law, right? So even Jesus taking them back to the law. Hey, have you not read what David did when what?
When he had need and was hungry.
Yep.
He and they that were with him.
Go ahead.
How he went into the house of God in the days of Abiathar,
Yep.
the high priest, and did eat the shewbread.
Go ahead.
Which is not lawful to eat, but for the priest.
But for the priest, he ate holy bread that was only for the priest. Go ahead, bro.
And gave also to them which were with him.
27.
And he said unto them, The Sabbath was made for man,
Yep.
and not man for the Sabbath.
You see that? Hey, the Sabbath was made for man. Like, we wasn't made for the Sabbath. Nah, the Sabbath was made for us. To do what? Rest. What is saying 28, bro?
Therefore, the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath.
You see that? Jesus is King or Lord of the Sabbath. Why? Because he sanctified it in Genesis chapter 2. He the one that blessed today and hallowed it. Go over now to Exodus 31. He blessed today and hallowed it. So look at what Jesus said about himself. He is Lord of the Sabbath, brothers and sisters. Lord of the Sabbath. So if he's Lord of the Sabbath, he's giving you rules on how to observe today and keep it holy. It stopped. Okay.